Section 26 of Uncle Josh's Punkin Center Stories by Cal Stewart. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Philip Martin. The weekly paper at Punkin Center. Well, t'other day down in New York, I was a-walking along on that street what they call the Broadway, when I come to the Herald Square newspaper building, and it was all winders and machinery. Well, I was just flabgasted. I just stood there looking at it. On the front there was a bell and a couple of fellers standing alongside of it with sledgehammers in their hands, and every once in a while they would go to pounding on that bell, and folks would stand around and watch 'em do it. They reminded me of a couple of fellers splitting rails. And all around the edge of the building they had hoot owls sottin' with electric lights in their eyes, and there was no end to the machinery in that building. If anyone had ever told me that there was that much machinery in the whole world, derned if I'd have believed him. Biggest machine I'd ever seen before was Cy Pettingill's new thrashing machine. Well, I just stood there a-watching them printing presses a-running paper going into one end and coming out at t'other, all printed and full of pictures and folded up ready to sell. It just beat all the way they done it. Well, we never had but one paper down home at Punkin Center. We called it the Punkin Center Weekly Bugle. Old Jim Lawson, he was editor of it. You see, Jim, he was sort of a trifling, no-count old cuss, so to keep him out of mischief, we made him editor. Well, Jim, he had his place up over Ezra Hoskins' grocery store. He never got any money for the newspaper, always got paid in produce, and Ezra's store was a mighty good place for him to take in his subscriptions. Well, things went along pretty smooth for quite a spell, till one day a feller he come in and give Jim a keg of hard cider for a year's subscription to the newspaper. We all calculated right then that something was a-going to happen, and sure enough it did. You see, about that time Jim had got two advertisements. One was for Reuben Jackson's restaurant, and the other was the timetable of the Punkin Center and Paw Paw Valley Railroad. Well, Jim, he got to drinking the hard cider and setting type at the same time, and when the paper come out on Thursday, it was worth going miles to see. Near as I can remember, it said that Reuben Jackson's restaurant would leave the depot every morning at 8 o'clock for beefsteak and mutton stews, and would change cars at White River Junction for mince and pumpkin pies and cottage pudding. There would be a flag station for coffee and doughnuts like Mother used to make, and the train wouldn't run on Sundays 'cause the station agent what done the cooking would have to run an extra on that day over the chicken and ham sandwich division. I believe that was the last issue of the Punkin Center Weekly Bugle. Enthusiasm, sometimes inspired, sometimes acquired, sometimes the result of immediate surroundings, and sometimes the result of hard cider. Punkin Center Philosophy. End of The Weekly Paper at Punkin Center.